All righty. So, live out of Miami, Fort Lauderdale, welcome to the Jones and Arocho Show. Two Jersey boys talking some great sports. Brought to you by the Sportscast. Today is December 3rd. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the Sportscast in all your channels, YouTube, Periscope, and iTunes. And if you are on iTunes, please leave a review, leave a rating. It'll help us out tremendously. You could also visit us on the sportscast.net or follow us on Twitter at the Sportscast1, where we post a lot of information as the NFL's going and other shows, especially or other sports like college sports, especially the SEC. And also look at the iOS app. We have the Sportscast iOS app store. And you can also visit us on YouTube, and we're live on YouTube. So please help us out. Come and look at our shows, subscribe to our channels, and we will be bringing some great information to you. So today we are live streaming now on Facebook. We're also live streaming on YouTube. So let's get ready to go. My buddy Byron. Byron, how you doing today?
Freezing in wonderful Philadelphia. It is cold up there.
What's freezing to you?
32 degrees is freezing.
Well, you know, it's cold here.
What's cold? 50?
No, 60, 60.
Yeah, rub it in. There you go. There you go.
But that's good. Look, I got a sweater on.
Oh, sweater. Oh, you must be really chilly. Yeah. Thanks.
But we love it when it's like that. You know, I love it. You know, I can wear shorts and a hat and a sweatshirt. I'm good.
That's awful, man.
30 degrees. Holy smokes.
We're taking away your Perth Amboy card.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You guys not only get snow, you also get hurricanes now. So at least I didn't get hurricanes.
Earthquake too. We've had earthquakes up here too.
Oh man, you've had it all. All right. Well, in today's show, obviously we're going to talk about the Giants. We got a lot to talk about. We got some of our friends from Perth Amboy, New Jersey, that are calling us out to talk about some other teams, and we're more than happy to. We just want them to call in to see if they can handle Byron and me, as well as Justin and his Alabama crew over there. I was on his show yesterday. I couldn't even get a question through. He's gonna call late. He's gonna call in a little later on, so we got to bust his chops. I asked one question. That was it. I was gone.
That was it.
So we're gonna talk about the Giants. We're gonna talk about the AFC East. We're gonna talk NFL in general and just some of the topics that come up. We're gonna go ahead and get into the Raiders for a good friend of ours, Moe Bryant, probably one of the, other than Byron, one of the best athletes I've seen to do it all. And we're going to talk about Bucks and Chiefs. I want to go over it, and the Steelers. We're also going to be talking about all us Tulsa. So us Tulsa wins again, no?
Well, they haven't played in 2 weeks, but the last game they did win.
Oh, yeah, I know that. I thought they played. I checked on it. With this COVID thing, it keeps pushing it out. I can't tell.
They had to change like the Cincinnati game, so they're playing Navy this weekend, and then they have Cincinnati next week.
All right, so we're going to be reviewing over that. So let's get into it right now. Let's make sure we have somebody calling in. All right, so the Giants, right? Daniel Jones, he hurts his hamstring, and I haven't heard this name in a long time. Colt McCoy.
Ooh.
Well, first of all, with a name like Colt, where do you think he's from?
Texas.
Oh, that's a good one. Colt McCoy. Hey, you never know, man. Look, this kid was good. He was good in college. It's just, those kids transition into college out. Look at Alex Smith. Alex Smith took a few years. Remember, he was did he win the Heisman? He was up for the Heisman.
He was the number one pick in the draft that year.
Yeah, but he came out of Utah. Remember when Utah was running that I forgot that coach's name. What was the coach's name that started that running shoot?
Urban Meyer?
Huh?
I think Urban Meyer was.
Nah, it was an older dude. It's an older dude. I'll find it out. I'll make sure. I'll look it up real quick. He had that run and shoot offense, and Utah was. I think it was Utah, right? Or Houston. No, it was Utah. Utah. And it took him a few years, and then he turned into a pretty good quarterback. I thought he did really well with San Francisco. I was surprised they let him go. And he's doing okay where he's at now, so good for him. Yep. So as long as we can maintain, but, man, we got a tough, putting a second-string quarterback in that has, been a journeyman against Wilson, it's going to be a challenge.
I think he might do a good job. As long as they can keep the running game going, they should be fine.
Yep.
Seattle's defense this year has been historically bad for them. The defense is awful.
I agree.
They also have that big giant wide receiver that outruns everybody, Metcalf. And the other guy is pretty good too. Lockett, I think his name is. The other receiver is pretty good. And then you also have the X factor, which is Russell Wilson.
Yeah. But what's happening though with Russell Wilson with their defense being so down, it's just like every game is on his shoulders. There's got to be a point where, you know what I mean? It's like, I think he's a good enough competitor to go out there, but there's a point where, every game he's got to put up all these, certain amount of points. But then again, against the Giants, he doesn't have to put up a lot of points, But we need this win, right? We really do. Or we need this win. If we don't get the win, which I want to win, I'd like to see us continue to play well because it seems like we're advancing each week.
They have gotten a lot better. The offensive line has gotten a lot better. The defense is working miracles. The only thing that I'm worried about. I want people to do well, but Patrick Graham is doing a great job with the defense. Before he got there, he with Miami, he done a good job there. And the only thing I'm worried about is if he leaves to get a head coaching job next year, which is possible.
Yeah. Well, look at Spagnuolo.
He's already had his shot. He had a shot. But
I don't want him as a head coach. I want him as defensive coordinator. But hey, listen, the Judge firing that offensive line coach worked out. If you're saying that offensive line is playing better, he knew what he was doing.
Well, I think according to what I read, that he went over there and I guess he tweaked, the center, what he was doing, Gates and the big giant. And Columbo's a big dude. Yeah. Columbo's like 6'8", about 320 pounds. He's big. I guess he didn't, like, what Judge was doing. I guess he called him like a nasty name and, words or whatever. And then instead of him firing him directly, they said that it was just
consultant.
Yeah, the guy was a consultant, the one that they got from New England, but they had the upper management is the one that escorted him out the building. He didn't fire him directly. It was, upper management heard what he did and they got rid of him.
Oh, really? So the offensive line coach was inappropriate.
He probably called him some kind of nasty name you shouldn't call the head coach, and they probably become the fisticuffs. But the fight, I think I'm put my money on the big offensive lineman.
Yeah, so would I. Yeah, but the Mara family, they don't mess around with that kind of stuff. They've never wanted that. I'm pretty happy and proud to say. I'm trying to think. Outside of like Jeremy Shockey just doing his stuff. And, LT was just LT, but he was great enough. I don't remember us ever having like a problem child player. Do you?
No, not really.
Like, I mean, if you think about it, like we never have had like a problem, an Antonio Brown, just like, just those guys, Terrell Owens, those are all great guys. Don't get me wrong, but, they were kind of challenges for the teams they were on. So, how do you hurt a hamstring, bro? Like, I mean, if he was going to hurt his hamstring, it would have been on that sloppy run where he fell down. That I could see. Okay.
Since I never ran that fast, I wouldn't know what it was like to pull, a hamstring, like.
He ran less than a 4.8.
Yeah, but still, I wouldn't,
He wasn't running. He was throwing.
When he fell, because when he ran, he fell on that side, the right side, because he grabbed, so I don't know how he got hurt, when he fell, on his hamstring, because they say it's a hamstring strain or whatever's going on with him. So maybe because he's such a finely tuned athlete or whatever, he's like a racehorse, and
Daniel Jones? I don't think so. He's definitely a super athlete as an NFL player, but I don't think he's a fine-tuned racehorse. Now, Metcalf, Deshaun Watson, and, those guys I would say are more supreme. So Colt McCoy, what do you think he's going to need to do to
They're going to have to run the ball with Gallman. Evan Ingram's going to have to pick up his game. Slayton is not going to have to do what he usually does, miss a couple. Golden Tate's going to do his thing as long as they throw him the ball. But it's going to be kind of tough. People forget, this is going to be for Justin later on, that Colt McCoy, when Alabama played Oklahoma, They could have beat them that year, but he got blown up in the game early. Colt McCoy, he got put out.
I thought he went to Texas, University of Texas.
Well, I mean Texas. Well, I think Texas was playing Alabama or whatever that year, and he got blown up in the game, and he didn't finish that game. And that was the difference when they played them in the championship game that year.
Right, Colt McCoy got hurt.
He got blown up.
Yeah.
Blown up.
He was fired up. He was lighting up the college circuit back then.
He was in the running for the Heisman. He was like he was a good quarterback. You know, college is just he's been around 10 years now. So you figure he's hung around and collected $1 million, $2 million checks a year for the last 10 years. Always hold the clipboard, and now his chance to put up.
I'd hold a clipboard for 700,000. Just don't put me in. But remember, we had that conversation. Second string quarterbacks. That's probably the best position you could play.
That's
Grillo's boy, and he got a Super Bowl ring.
Then you have to step foot on the field.
Yeah, he has to step foot on the field. Exactly.
Greasy go.
What do you think is going through Saquon's mind right now? He's got to be excited.
He's probably excited for the future. Figure it's a long road for him. As far as being injured to come back, to be the same player that he was. At least allegedly he's supposed to be talking to Adrian Peterson, who went through the same thing. So he's probably giving him pointers or talking to him like, hey, don't rush it. Get back there when you're ready to get back. Don't look like I did. I wanted to start of the season. If you got to sit out 2 or 3 games, beginning of the year, but you want to be 100% before you step foot back out there.
That's awesome. I like Adrian Peterson. He was one of my favorite players. I mean, he was tough. He's still running.
He's another one.
Trying.
He doesn't know when to quit, though, man. He's been up there. He's with the Detroit Lions now. He's just hanging in there, getting a check. So, yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. But I like Adrian Peterson. Seahawks game, right? That's going to be where are we playing? It's at Giants Stadium, is it?
I'm not sure.
Okay, I'll check it out. I think it is at Giants Stadium. We're gonna need something there. We're gonna need some help. So we need to, because what happens is the league is, even though it's so bad, the NFC East, every game counts right now. I mean, and that's normally how it used to be in the NFL, right? But they've done a good job of creating parity. But we got extra super parity in the NFC East. It's just shitty parity. It's terrible parity, right?
They got to stop. Metcalf, Lockett is a good receiver. Don't forget about him.
Who?
Lockett, the other receiver on the other
side. Yeah.
Their tight end, I forgot what the guy's name. Their tight end is pretty good too. And Russell Wilson. Those are the 4 that they got to stop. If they play well defensively and shut those guys down, or just one of them, they should. Who knows what could happen?
Or keep them off the field.
Yeah, that would help too. Ball control, hold it.
Keep them off the field. I mean, just try to control the ball. Because you got to figure those guys could put up points, right? So you're going to either have to keep them off the field, or you're going to have to score 24 points or more.
I don't know about the 24 points,
but that's my point, right? You either got to decide you're going to score 24 points and you're going to play the game, or you're going to score, under 24 points, and you're going to keep Russell Wilson and that crew off the field.
I think they're going to do a lot of running, do a lot of rollouts with Colt McCoy, not put him in harm's way, because he doesn't look like he's that tall at all. And where he's rolling out, where he can see, and sideline pass, to the tight end down the middle, and just like easy, simple stuff, nothing crazy. And every now and then take a shot over the top with Slayton.
Yeah, and Ingram, that's the life for him to be more consistent, right?
Yeah,
catching the ball. I'm trying to see his if they got his height. He's 34. They don't say anything about his height. Let's see.
6 foot.
They still have him on the Redskins. He's 6'1", so it means he's 6 foot.
He's like 5'10".
Yeah. He's kind of tiny. I didn't think he would be that tiny.
I'm not that big. He's not a big guy at all.
No. All right, well, let's get on to it. Let's go to AFC East. The AFC East is let me tell you, that Buffalo team looks good.
It's their division to lose.
It is. Right?
One of the top 5 teams in the NFL. They're good. The quarterback's good. The defense is good. They got the Diggs, the kid they got from Minnesota Vikings, a receiver. So they're rounded in like a lot faster than I thought they would. They're not bad at all.
Right. Well, you got to give Miami some credit too. I mean, Fitzpatrick came in and lit it up. I mean, that's a good way to come back in, right?
That's because what's his name? Tua's a little fragile again. Did he fall apart again?
He his ankle or something.
His back hurts or something. I don't know. He's going to probably be going through that. They better always have a good backup quarterback because he's going to be a great player, but you're always going to have to worry about him because of his size.
Well, we got to bring it when hopefully if Justin calls in, we got to because that's why I called into a show, right? I want to ask him about what do you think about Jalen Hurts getting yanked, like that. Well, we'll get into that right now. Then you got the Jets. The Jets still just figuring out ways to lose. I thought they were going to have a chance at least to win, and they lost. And I think Richie's still hiding from us. But that AFC East, you got the Dolphins. Still got a shot. Dolphins can make it a wild card, right? And it would be nice for them to get there. And then two, let's see what happens. Brian Flores is doing a great job with their defense, but I just think that the Bills. They're gonna win that division, and it's just a matter of how far if Miami makes it as a wild card team.
Let's don't forget about the Patriots the other day. That awful game that they played and still won
against the Jets.
Oh man, they are horrible. So what's his name? He had 84 yards passing or whatever he had, Cam Newton, and when he got lit up. Well, when they played the Cardinals the other day, and when he got lit up going to the sidelines, trying to get out when he ran for the 13 yards in the first down, he got lit up by Isaiah Simmons in Clemson. He looked like he wasn't going to get up, but then he got up and they kicked the winning field goal, and but they're a mess too. They're not.
I didn't want them to beat Tyler Murray though. That's like a wasted win and a bad loss for him.
Yeah, but they didn't play well at all either, though. They were, but people keep forgetting. You got Belichick is like the defensive guru. He'll find a way, to slow down somebody or stop him. He's done it for 20, 30 years or however long he's been a head coach. Right. So find a way to stop that guy on the other team. Right. He did.
Murray's doing a lot better than I thought he would do. I mean, he's actually impressed me. His ability to throw on the run, his ability to dodge, avoid getting tackled. He's throwing the ball out of bounds now. I mean, he's actually and I wanted him to do well, but I think he's doing a lot better than I was expecting.
Well, he's got a great arm. He's a great athlete. You figure he was the number one pick in baseball and football, so he's obviously a great athlete. Then, again, I'm going to throw it out there again. He's probably like 5'7", so they really can't see him, running around behind the big giant lineman. So, that probably helps a lot.
Oh God, yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll go from there. But so the Bucs and the Chiefs. What did you think about that game?
Judging that, our wonderful coach said that Brady has problems throwing a deep pass and outside numbers. And so far, I think he's been right. He's got Godwin, the receiver. He's got Evans. He's got Gronkowski's the only one that he really throws to deep down the middle, but that's a seam pattern. So he'll complete that. But anything deep to Evans has been it's been an issue this year. Yeah.
But he's also thrown some good deep balls, right? And he's had them to be able to bring him in. What's his name? Evans caught a nice ball. A couple of times they lost. But it was funny. They were getting beat pretty bad early, right? And then I tweeted out, because their defense is pretty good, right? So this is probably a great question for you from a defensive perspective. How they're saying, that was good in basketball. They usually say it a lot. Good defense, better offense, right? You got your hand in. You play basketball. You do everything you can. You got your guy hand up, your hand in his face. You do everything, and he still makes it. It was great defense, just better offense, right? Okay. So, I was wondering, is Kansas City's offense just that good, or is the Bucs defense not as good as they think they are?
It's a combination of both. They do, they have, JPP. You got Sue. They have that linebacker. I can't think of the guy's name. That's pretty good for them. The Bucks too. They got a lot of guys that rush the passer. They got Sue is still scaring the daylights out of people. The way he's been for the last 10 years. The JPP is still playing at a high level. It's just that Kansas City's offense is that good. They're going to score against anybody. Their problem is going to be, we'll probably talk about that later, is when they play a Pittsburgh that does have a really good defense. That's where, I mean, like even from the back end to the linebackers to the guys rushing. So that's where they're going to have an issue, if they meet up with them, in the playoffs. That's going to be probably the game of the year.
Yeah. Speaking of JPP, he cost them that game. I mean, because they had him, they were going to have to punt, and then when they got the helmet hit to the helmet, that was it, man.
They need to. That's a little ticky tacky, That
you're not allowed to hit him at the quarterback in the helmet. You know that.
Yeah,
he hit him in the helmet at the worst time. It was like 3rd and 10, 3rd and 15. It was ridiculous. And I wanted a good game. Don't get me wrong. And I'm rooting for Brady. But also, you got to give Brady credit and the team credit because, that went from a blowout to a 3-point game. And if it wasn't for those penalties, they were in the game. They could have won that game.
No, I think that
it was a 3-point loss.
Yeah, but I think the Chiefs took their foot off the pedal a little bit. They figured, I think they did because
I don't think it's in Andy Reid or Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, he did that when he was at the Philadelphia Eagles plenty of time where they would start out of somebody and he would just let me start getting cute. Next the other team they're catching up. All of a sudden there we go.
Well, it didn't work out too good for him there, so he's got a shot. I don't think he should ever let off the pedal. There's one thing I used to love about Jimmy Johnson. If you see the 30-30 on the Miami Heat, on the Miami Hurricanes, have you seen that? Yeah. It's phenomenal. And they were, I guess Jimmy Johnson was playing Notre Dame, and it was like the Notre Dame's coach was retiring or something like that. And Jimmy Jones beat them like 70. He was just pouring it on. And they said to him, they go, don't you kind of feel a little bit bad? He goes, why do I feel bad? He goes, my team played. We came to play. We don't, we just came to play. I can't, if they play poorly, that's not my problem. Right. And he put up the points. He goes, I had other players in there, but he put up the points. Steve Spurrier was the same way. I'll put up 60, 70 points. And then some of Steve Spurrier's logic was, which I wasn't a Spurrier fan until he went to South Carolina. But what I started to appreciate about Spurrier, and I understand about the college coaches that did that, I don't know what your thoughts are, right, was when they played a team, they wanted to beat them. When the opportunity struck, they wanted to beat them so bad to create fear every time that team played.
Yeah. Ancient history. Tulsa got beat one time. They played the University of Houston, I think like 1969, 100-6. Before the game, a lot of their guys, it was 100-6. A lot of their guys got like food poisoning or something. Some of them, like a lot of them got sick. So the head coach from Tulsa went to the head coach. Hey, a lot of my guys are sick. Blah blah blah. Can you not do a set? 100-6. He did a man. You have a lot of coaches. Their reasoning is that stop us.
Yeah.
Now, I'm putting my third string guys in. If you can't stop them, I'm putting my third string offense in. If you can't stop them, then you have issues. So I'm not going to.
Yeah, I don't. That's different. I wouldn't light it up, but I knew Spurrier was because back then it was a little bit different. Now you got great. The schools are great. They're playing. You're playing, especially in the SEC, right? He wanted teams to fear him, right? But he feared Hurricanes during that time. Like he didn't want to play Miami because it was a contract. They was trying to strike a deal to play the Hurricanes, but it was like 70% of the games were going to be played in Gainesville over Miami. And Miami said, "There's no way I'm going to play that way." So But anyhow, that's what I saw there. And the other thing is, I just thought it was a great game. To be able to. I thought it was a great game. I was happy on either side, right? I like both of them. I'm just rooting for Brady because I kind of. Like I always tell you, we always talk about how people decide when they want to pick sports as a business or a sport, right? And when you see an athlete that walks away from a dynasty he was part of and pretty much built, right? And then goes to another team and people are going there to play with him. And he's got a shot to still make the playoffs. Especially, we don't know with Drew Brees, whether he's going to continue or he may just retire. I understand. I kind of enjoy it. I just want to see him to play better. And then, I don't know if it's Arians' offense or Brady's off, or Brady. But everything I'm hearing is the numbers of like motion that Brady's used to doing is like 16% compared to him doing it 67% of the time and doing. And
like with Bruce Arians, look at every place he's been, he goes deep. When he had Andrew Luck, throw it deep, young man. When he had Peyton Manning, throw it deep. Ben Roethlisberger, go deep. Brady's not that kind of quarterback where he can throw like those guys. Those guys, 60, 70, even, Peyton, he had young Peyton. He didn't have, the old, the broke down neck arm issues that he had young Peyton. And, look what he did with those three. And it's just that Brady's a different kind of quarterback. He's not like those three. He's greatest of all time as far as quarterbacks. Yes. But it's just that he's just not the same as those three guys.
But they're also not running the ball at all. This is the most Brady's ever thrown.
And that's a big issue.
That's a problem. It's not Brady. That's a problem. And I'm not giving Brady passes because I think I've seen him throw some bad stuff. But I'm also seeing the receivers just doing really, really bad stuff. The guy's blitzing right in front of you. Like there's a linebacker. I'm lined up as a receiver, right? And I start running. That linebacker flies in. You're taught, turn around. Because now you're in an open spot. That guy just gave you an open spot, and your quarterback he's coming right after your quarterback. And you saw Brady threw it in the back. And it's those kind of things that kind of is frustrating from what I see. And again, Mahomes he's still incredible, man. Yeah. The one thing that I do notice about him, and I think that also helps him, is it me or he drops back deep, like real deep. It's one thing. There's the normal is 17. What is it? 7 feet or 7 yards? 7 yards, right? But he goes 7 yards, and then I think he goes back like another 7.
I guess he trusts his arm that he's going to get it, where he needs to get it. That's what it probably is. That's why he goes back so far. But then, he's a special talent. That's what you can say about him.
Well, I think that if you agree with that, then I'm seeing the right thing. I think it's a couple pieces. One, I think he's got the arm to be able to do that. But I think it also gives him time to make a decision because the farther back he's away from the line of scrimmage, right, the more he has space to run towards the line of scrimmage.
Right.
Is that a fair statement? Okay. Yep. And if that's true and he's kind of, slippery and he's got a strong arm, he's giving himself extra time for his receivers, like Kelsey, right? Like Kelsey, forget about Tyreek Hill. Those guys have started adjusting because they know he's got time to get to the scrimmage line and he can make a play happen, right? It's just that every time I see him and I'm like, come on, go get him. He drops so far back.
Yeah, but look what he does, though. Those guys, they probably, some places they usually tell them, like when the quarterback starts running, around, run back toward the quarterback, show them your numbers, so you can see you. But they probably have something different. Like, what? I can throw the ball 70, 80 yards in the air. So you know what? When I start running around like that, just take off and go deep. And I can see that happening, like especially with Tyreek Hill. I can see him just, all right, he's running around there. Let me run 70 yards the other way. And a lot of the times he hits him.
Yeah. I think, but then I think they got it down. I think what happens is that when he's in trouble, right, depending, Tyreek Hill either go deep, and then he has Kelsey not going deep. So he's got like 3 levels of options when he's in trouble.
Yep.
Right? Because Tyreek Hill is just going to fly, right? Speaking of Tyreek Hill, other than Dion Sanders, because I think Dion Sanders would have been a good matchup, who can cover this guy?
Well, if he was playing back in the 70s.
No, I'm talking about now.
Now?
Now.
Well, Deion Sanders not now, probably.
Deion Sanders not now, but Deion Sanders ran a 4.2.
I think all those big, like Mel Blount, I think could have done something with him because he probably wouldn't have got off the line.
Right.
Mel Blount. Lester Hayes, he'd have been stuck to him like glue.
Yeah, but Lester had Stickum back then.
Michael Haynes, the other corner for.
That was my favorite defensive backfield, man.
There you go.
What was the white guy's name? He was the only white guy to start saying he was awesome. He was the free safety, I think.
Jack Tatum, George Atkinson.
I forgot. I'll look him up. But it was Haynes. It was Lester Hayes, Mike Haynes. The other 2, I'm telling you, it's the 4. I got the poster of the 4. So there you go, Mo. That's for the Raiders out there for you. Oh, someone's coming in here. Let's see what we got. Oh, if I can move my mouse on that side. I'm letting you in. Oh my God. I'm letting you in. There you go. There we go. Hello. Welcome to the Jones and Arocho show. Who do we have the pleasure of speaking with?
Your favorite caller, Justin Riley.
Justin Riley. Oh, I don't know, Byron. Should I put him on hold and wait for a bit?
Nah.
Man.
Man, I had one question. Those Alabama boys were just going. They didn't even give me a chance. Byron, what was the hat you said you wore for Justin?
Here, Baltimore Ravens.
Why is that for Justin? That's a scene. Oh yeah, that's right. He's a Raven fan. That's right. How you doing, Justin? You had a good show the other day.
I'm doing all right, man. Yeah, had a great show the other day. A lot of fun. We got some good content in there, but mainly a bunch of craziness. But hey, we got a great mix of both.
It was fun. I was laughing. It was good. You had good guests and so forth. We were talking about now. He's putting back his giant head on. So what you think of the? We were just talking about. I don't know what if you got a question, or you want me to ask you a question. You tell me how you want to go.
Well, you just mentioned the Ravens, man. First of all, I got to give my hats off to them right now. With countless people out, they still managed to be in position to beat the Steelers, which is no easy task. And if not for ill-advised, I said that they were in position to still beat the Steelers, but if not for an ill-advised throw by RG3 there, which led to a score, we had a chance. But with all things considered, we still performed well, but. In the NFL, there are no moral victories, especially right now for the Ravens, who are struggling right now, and it's going to be an uphill battle.
Don't you think that? I think for me and Byron, what you think? I'm just of the opinion that the league is adjusting to Lamar Jackson. So if he doesn't start really, playing that pocket quarterback and then utilizing his pieces, his athleticism. I just think, you have other challenges that you have other pieces and challenges you have to do there. Because, I'll go back to Deshaun Watson, and I said it before. I mean, that guy, I was always impressed. And look, he's starting to turn that back around. I think Lamar Jackson is great. Also, he may have the curse of the Madden cover. Because isn't he on this year's cover?
Yeah, that's right. He was. I'll get to that. One thing, against the Ravens, having Calais Campbell out and Brandon Williams out does not help things up front, does not help things in the defense. But the biggest glaring thing right now, like you said, is Lamar Jackson. The league is adjusting to his abilities, and unless he opens his game up and begins to develop as a passer, that offense is going to be shut down or be neutralized. You know, I'm not taking anything away from Lamar Jackson as an athlete. He's phenomenal. I mean, he was
one of the best
MVP last year
at that position.
Yeah,
there's no doubt.
He was MVP last year for a reason. But in the NFL, you've got to be well-rounded. I mean, you can get away with doing some things for a couple of years, but in about year 3, like you said, defenses adjust, and if you're one-dimensional, you'll get exposed. And people like to argue that, well, he doesn't have receivers. He's got receivers. You know, he's just not getting the ball up to them.
Right. Byron, what do you think?
You know, I agree with what Justin just said. You know, they got Brown? They got great, 2 good tight ends, or one, Andrews. You know, he has the people around. It's just like you said, they've caught up to him. They caught up to him, and then he has that funky, I've said this before, that funky throwing motion that he has, that, a lot of his passes probably go 5 feet off the ground. A lot of them are getting knocked down, or he's throwing them in his stands and all kind of crazy plays. He needs to work on, his footwork, and, maybe work on that throwing motion that he has.
Well, what's weird is, how the NFL is a copycat league, right? So nobody ran the Wildcat until the Dolphins did. Now with the Wildcat, they ran it more, and it's now part of the arsenal of an offensive team's scheme. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah.
Okay. So
yes,
what I'm looking at is that Lamar Jackson is a better athlete than Patrick Mahomes. Not a better quarterback, but a better athlete, right?
I'll give you that.
Okay. Why wouldn't they just try to look to copy some of, the play calling or something to that degree? They copy everything. Then why wouldn't you say, hey, you got a guy that can run, is shifty, that can throw, because Lamar Jackson can throw. But why aren't they trying to put in some type of mix that is working for Patrick Mahomes? And before you say something, the last thing I want to say, so Justin here is we were just talking about, like, Mahomes drops back. I had to ask Byron to see your thoughts to make sure I wasn't seeing things. He seems like when he gets the ball, he drops back even another 7 more yards. And I think that's to his advantage. I don't see Lamar Jackson doing that. Go ahead, Byron.
No, I don't think he can. I don't think he trusts himself to do it. One thing, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but if Mark Ingram is not a large part of that offense, if he's not healthy, the offense suffers, and so does Lamar Jackson. Lamar does not have the confidence to lead that team by himself. And if we start to get down, he's not one of those guys who can pick the team up on his shoulders like an Elway or Marino and lead them to a come-behind victory. I don't know if you've noticed that or if it's just me, but those are 2 things that are glaring to me, that if Mark Ingram is not healthy, which he has not been, the offense tends to struggle with Lamar by himself. And then 2, like I said, he's not a leader in terms of bringing a team back against adversity.
What do you think, Byron?
Well, we've talked about this before. It's a copycat league. Everybody's, caught up to him. If he doesn't have that threat, which is, like Justin said, is Mark Ingram, that he's going to either get the ball or not get the ball. Because now it's at a point where, they run the RPO, they're running, their version of, the run, and go to handoff to Ingram. And then if he pulls it, those defensive ends, when Ingram's are going to crash down, they're going to crash down to get Ingram. Now, most, and I know I was taught when I played that, you crash down, but if you have a quarterback that can run, you're going to sit there. You're going to watch the ball go in. You're going to watch it. You might take 2 steps over there, to the right or left, depending on where it is, but you're going to stay right there. And I'm looking right at the quarterback if that's my guy.
It's again, and then I realized that the curse of the Madden cover curse stopped for a few years, right? And then it happened to Lamar Jackson this year. I just thought that's because it was for a long time. Everybody no one wanted to be on the cover of Madden.
No.
I mean, they were proud that they were, but they were like scared. Like the second they were on, guys were getting hurt, and maybe that's what's happening to him. So, what you think about the Bucks and the Chiefs game?
Man, Mahomes and Mahomes is just heads and tails above everybody else. Just absolutely amazing. And then, of course, their wide receiver. His name just slipped my mind.
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill. I mean, dude is just a video game. Now Tampa Bay did show some resolve and make things close. I just don't think I don't think Tampa Bay has what it takes to be elite. And I think people are sorry about the noise in the background there. I think people are trying to base their expectations on a younger Brady when the actuality is he's not young anymore and he's not playing to the same level that we're accustomed.
Right. But I think, I mean, I would, first of all, Patrick Mahomes is, I mean, but look, but you still got to give, between the two of them, they put up over 800 yards passing. You can't take that away from Brady. I mean, you know.
No, not at all.
He held them, right? Threw a couple stupid interceptions, right? He was also getting hit a lot. And that's what I was noticing. That's when I really noticed the drop back, right? Because you see how far Mahomes goes back and Brady goes back a step or two. Now they're different sizes, different heights, and so forth. It's just that, you know, they both threw for yards. I'm just, you know, Brady's going to be there for another year. It's going to take him a little bit of time. Gronk had over 100 yards, right? But Tyreek Hill, what do he have, 200-something yards in the first half?
269 total.
In total or the first half?
Total, 269.
Total.
He had 100, almost 200 in the first.
They shut him down in the second half.
They said, something happened. But that, you know, I can't imagine you not thinking the ball was not going to go to Tyreek Hill for the first down. The problem is I just don't think he can cover. I don't know how to cover. He's not big, and he's lightning quick. And he catches. Because I know guys we played with that, you know, had lightning speed and they couldn't catch a cold. You know, and they got far. You know, they got far. There was a couple players, you know, played with me. They got farther than I did, and it was purely because of speed, but it didn't work.
No.
I mean, I took that guy's position as a punt returner. All right, let's go. I'm going to talk about the Raiders. Well, I got something by it?
Oh, yeah. Here, since Justin's the Alabama expert, the year Colt McCoy played you guys national championship game, right? Didn't they play that?
Yeah, 2009.
And that was the year that I think Colt McCoy was like in the running for the Heisman. I mean, he was one of the top players in America, and I think he got blown up.
Yeah. Yeah, we took him out of the game early.
Because we were talking about the early.
Go
ahead.
Yeah, he went out in the first. He went out in the first half. Marcel Darius just popped him, and he couldn't pick up his arm after that, and had to come out for the rest of the game. But yeah, I remember that very well.
Do you think it would have made a difference if he had played the whole game?
Well, absolutely. I mean, Colt McCoy in college was probably one of the best college quarterbacks in the country, if not the best. And I mean, he was a difference maker. So yeah, I think the game would have been a lot closer. But I think Alabama would eventually have won. But I think it would have been a really tough contest for us. But yeah, having Colt McCoy out makes a huge difference.
Yeah, because he got.
I didn't even know he was in the league still.
Yeah, he's still hanging in there.
Yeah, he's got that check.
Hey man, like we were talking about that. It's that backup, the second string quarterback is the best position to ever play because you're going to get paid dollars as a quarterback, and you're going to be able to walk later long in life.
You're absolutely right,
and
you'll be walking to the bank. I mean,
that's interesting. But I want to talk. Hold on a second. I got my list here. So right now, I just want to go to Raiders. This is for a good friend of ours. They called me the other night. Justin and Byron and I both played with him. His name is Moe Bryant, phenomenal athlete in every sport. I mean, but Moe's what, like 5'9", and he could 360 dunk a basketball.
Good grief.
Yeah,
Great athlete. Great
that's not. That's just not fair. I mean, I'm 6 foot.
No, it's not.
Dunk a basketball. But he's a big Raider fan, so he yelled at me. He says, "You and Byron, stop talking about the Giants. Put some Raiders on. I'm going to come on that show." And then, Byron, he wants to have like a Perth Amboy Panther talk. He wants the top 79 best athletes out of Perth Amboy. And I'm like, well, I go, look, I'm all the way on the bottom, so I know Byron's there. He goes, oh no, Vic, you're not. I go, remember, don't forget the Taylor brothers.
Don't forget the Taylor brothers and the Penny Feathers and
Swindells.
Big Jay Zagnuski went to Notre Dame, so
yeah, Big J. Yeah, there's
Mark Harilik played at Clemson a year before.
Clemson, he got a scholarship at Clemson.
Juan Polanco went to Pittsburgh, so we've had our share.
Oh, Justin, let me tell you about because you're young, right? So let me tell you about this guy Juan Polanco. This guy was huge in high school, right? He was so big that back in our high school we were, like a prominent football team, and our weight room was nothing compared to what it should have been, right? We had what you call those, the racks, right?
Whatever that rack is.
A rack, right? And these guys by that day, so this guy was so big and strong that they ended up getting 2 sewer caps, right, Byron? They were big sewer caps, drilled holes in them to put them on a bench bar so he could start working out.
Oh my God!
The crazy thing is, he played 1 year. He only played 1 year of football. He was a bodybuilder, Juan. And when I mean 1 year, he played his senior year. Pitt saw him, and that was the end. He went there as a defensive tackle, and ended up playing offensive guard or something. But he played with Dan Marino. But I had to block him, and he was a beast, man. I hated going to practice with them guys. I had him, and I had Mark Harilik. They were awful going to practice, man. They beat your brains in.
Yeah. Hey, man, when you see Mark, he doesn't look it.
Mark Harilik in high school, he was all state the year before I was. He was 79. I was 80 when I made the all state team. And Mark was a player, man. Mark Harilik, Juan Polanco, man. We got some guys, man. But
because I see Mark and he just looks like I still couldn't imagine him because I didn't see him, and he was that well, huh? He played that well.
He played Clemson. He went to Clemson.
No, that I know that, but was he big?
Yeah, he was big. He's like 6'4", about 250 when he like 240, 250.
I didn't realize he was that tall. So anyhow, Justin, I was just telling you that how funny it was to drill holes in 2 sewer caps that were like each of them was like what 180 pounds or something.
He was bigger and stronger than anybody.
Yeah.
Hey, gotta get it in somehow, man.
Exactly.
Beat the beast.
So it's back to my buddy Moe, right? He's probably hiding from us right now because they just got beat this weekend by the Falcons.
Yeah, and it was and it wasn't just beat. They were
43-6.
Beat down.
I mean,
where you at, Moe? Where you at, Moe?
They took their manhood away. The Falcons. The Falcons took their manhood away. Come on, the Falcons.
But 43 points.
And without Julio Jones.
Oh my God.
Yeah, without Julio Jones.
Yep, sure did.
And Calvin Ridley didn't even have that big of a game. So good grief.
They got beat like they stole some.
Well, I feel bad for the Jets because the Jets are going to take the brunt of that loss because they play the Jets next week or this Sunday.
Well, hopefully they continue. But Raheem Morris is doing well. He might coach himself into keeping that job.
I think that would be the best fit for the Falcons. They would be stupid to look at anyone else. I mean, unless they want to look at Eric Bieniemy, but still, I mean, Raheem Morris, that's the dude for the Falcons.
Yep.
Yeah. I like John Gruden. I thought they were having a good year, but to get beat down, Moe, you got beat. Just think about this. They lost to the Chiefs 35-31. And then lose 43-6 against the Falcons.
The Falcons.
How does that happen? It's just you don't get up for that? You were up for the Chiefs. I mean, what happens, Byron? I mean, does that really happen? That guys just take it? You're playing against other millionaire players. It's not like you're playing against some pot board guys. How do you not? You got it's every given Sunday. You know that.
Well, then
Any given Sunday.
I guess they must have forgot about that part because they definitely didn't come to play 43-6. That was awful. It doesn't. It's all in you. If you have a little, it's a little here. It's a heart. It's a little here. A little pride. I'm not gonna go out there and get beat 46-3. I'd rather get thrown out of the game than go ahead and get beat down. I would do something stupid, get thrown out of the game, so I wouldn't have to be out there for that beat down.
I didn't get beat. Yeah, man. I was so mad I got thrown out. Oh, Byron, you're killing me, man.
Somebody in the face that did something. I'd have done something stupid.
All right, so let's move on to the Steelers, right? Again, I'm a big Mike Tomlin fan. There was two sides that we were talking about, Justin. This is for you on the Baltimore side. Someone was Tomlin did not like that win at all, right? He went after every unit in that team. Byron, he went after specialty teams. He went after offense. He went after the defense. He was super upset, right?
Better than what they did.
I'm sorry?
He knew that they played better.
Right. And then Justin, I'll let you go on for this. And then the other side of an analyst said, which I thought was a great point, because think about it. They played terrible in every unit they had and still pulled out a win. I still got to tell you that's a good team.
Yes, it is.
Justin?
Well, sometimes, you just have to win ugly, and you're going to have games like that. And, it's your rival. So even though Baltimore was riddled with injury and people out due to COVID and whatnot, they weren't just going to show up and lay down. So they had fight in them. I mean, that's what you do against your rival. But Tom is right. I mean, they're undefeated. They're looking great, but he's looking at it from the standpoint of we can do so much more in order to accomplish the goal that we have, and that's getting to a Super Bowl. We're going to have to not just escape against opponents. We're going to have to dominate opponents. And if they have little slip ups like that, the wrong team is going to slip up and beat them at the wrong time, like the playoffs.
The playoffs, right? Exactly.
Right. And if you watch the Steelers, you have a lot of the players that normally don't make a lot of mistakes, making mistakes. Even Minkah Fitzpatrick looked like he was getting worked a couple of times, and that's just uncommon to see Minkah get worked. But it could have just been one of those days. But, man, this is a point in time where the Steelers need to turn it up a notch and not, like I said, not just escape opponents and have ugly wins, but have decisive wins.
Right. Yeah. But, I think that once you're on a roll, even though you played bad, you pull out the win, it still shows the resolve of the team won. And then on Baltimore's side, you got to give them credit because, I think those guys that stepped in showed they want to play. That means they have Baltimore's a pretty good team. So they have to have – I think good teams have good depth because you get better playing against better talent. Is that a fair statement, Byron? So even though maybe guys are on second string or not getting as many reps, but if they're really good, they make the other team, the first string better, right?
Hey, Byron, Victor, Baltimore had a lot of players that weren't even there before this past week. They picked them up recently so they could field a team, and they still played very well.
Yeah, so but that should tell them that look, pick your head out of what, because your team is better than you're showing. Because if you could do that with the players you had and play against a Steeler team, even though they played bad, but that's not your fault, right? You show up, you play.
How many times have you heard that a lot of people play down, to the competition? That's probably what happened. They probably lined up. So all these guys that, were, delivering ice cream and doing this and whatever else, the week before, and now they're in a, NFL game. And if, we could roll over these guys. They probably exactly probably what they're thinking. You know, hey,
it could be, but you think it would be the only problem I don't agree fully with that is that it wasn't just one unit. It was they were bad in every unit.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's one thing to I do get that you play down to an opponent, but it's usually a unit or but not like he mentioned every unit that
every facet of their game.
Facet that you have in football did not play well.
Yeah, but you have a lot of those guys are playing on all those teams. You know, you got a lot of the starters are playing on the kickoff team, the kickoff, kick receive, the punt team. A lot of those guys are, they're doing a lot of different jobs. So, all it takes is 2 or 3 of them like, you know what, we could roll over these guys. Don't worry about it.
Exactly. Well, they shouldn't have. Yeah, that's just. What's sad though? Then that's going to be a problem if that's true. Which I'm hoping it isn't. Even though I'm not, I'm not a Steeler fan, but I like Tomlin. The challenge is though, then that's not going to be in the mentality of a team that can go undefeated and win a Super Bowl. Because you're undefeated. To me, how you pride. I'm going to get myself thrown out before I get a beat down, right? Okay, I would say, guys, we can make history here. We haven't lost the game, so play like it. Like Justin said, don't play just barely win. You should dominate these opponents. Be undefeated. Be a dominant undefeated team. Right. So I think that, anytime a team's undefeated for me in football, particularly, I always get nervous because the one time that you lose is probably the time you're not going to want to lose, which is in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's right. The New England Patriots about that against the Giants.
That's right, baby.
There you go.
Yeah. And you see the Dolphins celebrate all the time, but they didn't play as many games.
No.
And it was totally different. All right, well, the Steelers. All right, give us an update with Tulsa. What's happening? What kind of prospects we got so we can pick on our fantasy football teams?
Nothing. They haven't played the last 2 weeks. They play Navy this weekend, and then they play Cincinnati next week. And Zaven Collins has been nominated as one of the finalists with the Butkus Award, the linebacker from Tulsa, number 23.
Number 23.
All 6'4", 260 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, real quick, you mentioned a name before, Justin Marquise. He hit McCoy. Darius.
Marcel Darius.
Yeah. Isn't he on your show sometimes?
We have not had Marcel Darius yet.
I just remember that name. That's why I was asking.
He was a great player too.
Well, you let me know so we can call up and ask him about that hit on Colt McCoy.
Oh yeah, most definitely, man.
If you give us non-Alabama fans a chance to even ask a damn question.
I'll get the boys in line, man. We're just so excited, man. We're a passionate bunch. We're a passionate fan base.
Nah, man. I wanted to light up your show when Steve Brown was on there. I wanted to ask about because I was calling to ask about Jalen Hurts.
Right.
Byron. And I'm going to call in again and ask about it. I think we can talk a little bit about it now because I want to talk about it here, and then we're going to move on. But what was going through this guy's mind putting him in 2 plays and taking him out? Why would you do that to a young player? Like, what's wrong with you?
I figure Doug Peterson probably has a lifetime job in Philadelphia unless he goes 0-16 for 2 or 3 years.
Unless Adam Gase interviews there.
He won
dear gosh.
Yeah, he won a Super Bowl in Philadelphia. That's a big thing around here. They still talk about that. That win, and I have to hear it all the time. But Wentz is being paid $1 billion. I think between next year. So they're not gonna rush Jalen in because they got to pay this guy. They're not gonna pay a guy $25 million a year, whatever he's making a year, to sit on a bench when you put this other kid in who deserves to play now, because Wentz is awful. He was sacked 6 times in the game. He's terrible, but they're not going to take him out unless he gets hurt or it gets that bad where maybe the owner of the team says, you know what, put the other guy. But they're not going to put.
And I'm okay with that. I think we had that conversation. My issue was, how do you put this kid in for 2 plays? Like just 2. Like, oh, was it because Carson was hurt for a little bit or what? But 2 plays?
Maybe they figured they throw him out there for like as a decoy. Well, all right, we got Jalen Hurts out here. We don't know if he's going to.
But if you do that though, teams are going to know. Well, he's just out there as a decoy, and they're not going to really pay any attention to it, and they don't see it as a threat. So get Jalen in the mix. For God's sakes, bring him in there. If not just to give the team a spark, give him some real plays to where he's actually doing something or has the opportunity to do something. The Eagles need a spark right now. They need something. They need some kind of lightning bolt to hit them in some way. And my gosh, you drafted a guy in the second round who's got amazing ability as a runner, a passer, just phenomenal athlete. Use it to your advantage.
Yeah, and my point is, I agree with both of you. The only thing is, my issue was, if you're going to put him in, give him a 4 series, give him the 4 series, right? The 4 downs. Give him a chance. Don't give him 2 plays. I mean, that's like, I don't know. It would affect me. Like, just put me in 2 plays. I threw 1 pass.
Yeah, but the offensive line is awful. They're all hurt. Lane Johnson, I think, is out for the rest of the year. Kelsey's been hurt.
That's true. They could be protecting him.
Jason Peters has been playing 9 years. He's still hanging in there. They're moving him from left tackle to right tackle, the left guard. They move him all over the place. And, their line is just not, the same that it was when they won the.
Right. Oh, so since we got, did you want to ask Justin a question about Tua?
About him being first?
Yeah. Go ahead.
How did he get hurt already again?
He got a thumb injury. And from what I understand, he could have gone, but Flores didn't feel like there was a need to really push it. So he just sat in this past week and put Fitzpatrick in because, it was the Jets. I mean, you and I could have lined up and still have been effective. But that's what it was. It was a thumb injury, and he could have played if he needed to. But why throw him out there when it's the Jets?
Is he that fragile?
What happened? Byron's calling him fragile. He said he's like
I heard him.
He's like a ceramic. He's a ceramic vase in the middle of.
Well, it is true. He does have a tendency, or I guess talent, to accrue the occasional injury or 10. But I think he's all right. I mean, he took some lumps this year and bounced right back up and was ready to go. So, I know he's got an unfair stigma around him, but my gosh, you paid him tons of money at that point in the draft. So why not, do something with your investment?
Exactly. All right. Well, I'm trying to pull something up. Oh man. All right. Well, Byron, I can't find it because I downloaded it. I was trying to do it. Well, did you get an award or something? I wanted to show you. You were at the National Sheriff's. Was that this year? Recently, the gala?
Oh, that's when I retired 4 years ago.
Oh, that was 4 years ago? Yeah. So Byron, from the sheriff, right from sheriff. I just want to congratulate you. I was trying to show that picture. I have it downloaded on my other computer, but I wanted to show it now. I can't find it.
Our lieutenant governor of the state was there too.
Yeah, so it was a good moment for you. I saw Byron. And then I showed Byron. Who was the gentleman you took a picture with that I think Sonia had posted? That's what I'm trying to look for.
Oh, that's my dude, man. That's Tracy Tiff. That's my guy.
Okay, so Justin, I wanted to have that picture so you could get a perspective of how big Byron is. Because that guy was dwarfed. That picture, man. I was like, okay, let me show everybody how big Byron is. So, I'm sorry, I'm putting back. Sorry. That was an interruption. That wasn't expected. All right, so any parting words there, Justin?
Well, I've enjoyed the show again. I always love mixing up with you guys, and I'm hoping that my Ravens get together before the playoffs so that we can get in the playoffs
There we go.
And because right now, we're dropping too many games, and I think we're actually underperforming right now. And to have all that hype coming into the season to have nothing to show for it at the end, we got to do something quick.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. Also, this is a weird year with COVID and everything else going on. I just think you're seeing the shift as the weeks go. You're seeing great teams starting to play not as good. You know what I mean? Like the cream is rising to the top, and then some of them are going up and down. Right? It's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
This year, like you think someone's on a roll, and then they go different. Indianapolis surprises you, and then something happens there. Just from one team to the next, right? That you get surprised.
No quarterbacks, playing with a wide receiver quarterback. It has been a mess.
It's been pretty bad. Byron, you got anything?
Throw it out there. Sam Mills, longtime great for Carolina Panthers and the New Orleans Saints, one of the 25 finalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Please do this man the just and get him in the Hall of Fame this time to please.
Yes. Amen to that. Amen to that.
He went to Montclair State in New Jersey. He went to Division III school.
All 5'9", 230 pounds, the field mouse.
Yeah. And, Division III, and he was that great of a quarterback. He passed away recently, didn't he?
About 5 years ago.
About 5 years ago. Yeah, that guy was
he was a dominant player in the USFL.
Yeah.
Was a Darius Zimmerman, Reggie White, Steve Young, and Jim Kelly. Four of the guys that are in the Hall of Fame that played with him in the USFL. So he's one of them, so he should be in the Hall of Fame.
No, I agree. And I want to end it with this one thing that we talked about last week or the week before, because it was Thanksgiving, when we were talking about the new diversity program for hiring, I guess minority or interviewing minority coaches. Remember we were having that conversation? Where I think that gets lost is the fact that they don't talk up enough the Byron Leftwich, the Eric Bieniemys about how great they're doing as coaches in their positions, right? It's like it's either the head coach or they got to mention those guys. It's almost like how they say like the Heisman Trophy sometimes gets lost in the mix of the teams that are not as nationally televised as other teams.
Right.
Because people can't see them, right? So it's almost like if you're not talking about these great, minority, I think everybody should get a shot. So I'm just across the board. I'm just saying that if they're not at least mentioning them and saying what a great job and, constantly having some sports talk about the great coaches that are not the head coaches, right? I think that brings a lot more to light. You start remembering their names, right? And then that's the one. Number two, I'm just wondering if there's a point where a coach wants to stay with a team for a little bit longer to kind of enjoy that destiny. You know what I mean? I guess not. No, they want to go and get that head coach position.
Well, look at what was his name? McDaniels. Look what he did up in New England. He had the job with the Colts, and all of a sudden, I don't really want to go there, and change his mind. How often does that happen where somebody accepts a job and then changes his mind at the last minute? That's the first time I've ever seen that one.
Interesting. Well, again, I think the reason why I brought that up again, because Justin just mentioned Bieniemy, Leftwich is doing a great job. I mean, there's a lot of great coaches that are doing a great job. Yeah. And then the head coaches, Brian Flores, and they can go, the new league is the new coaches. Tomlin was the youngest coach ever to win a Super Bowl.
31.
The youngest coach ever. So why didn't you start hiring young coaches when he won?
People are a little slow.
It's a good old boy league. They're going to hire, who they're familiar with. And, that's the issue, that I have, with it, that it's the same retreads that they keep hiring over and over and over again. And it's one, like I told you before, the coaching trick. Reed, Belichick, and Shanahan, 40% of the guys that are coaching right now have one way or another have been involved with those three.
Interesting. So, I think we'll start to see some changes. Go ahead, Justin.
So Alabama had that problem for the longest time when it came to the Bear Bryant coaching tree. whenever it came time for us to actually have a new coach, they wouldn't hire anybody unless they coached or played under Bear Bryant. So they finally broke the mold later, and of course we have Saban now. But yeah, it took a long time for that to change.
Okay. All right, well, we're going to be wrapping this up right now. So, again, thank you, Justin, for joining today, and Byron, my wonderful co-host. Don't forget, our listeners, that there's the Ty Turner Show every Monday at 10 p.m. And then you got the Riley and Constant Show Tuesday at 7 p.m. As a big SEC, get prepared because you got a lot of Alabama boys that coming at you. Woof! I think I'm going to call in with a group of friends because it's the only way I can, like, you can't go in there. It's like you're going into a tunnel and you know what you're going to get. So I just want to say you got Justin, the Constant, and Riley show every Tuesday. Hold on a second, I got here. Oh man, did I lose you? I think I did. Justin, why don't you tell me real quick your show so I can pull up my cheat sheet.
All right, like Victor said, it's the Riley and Constant Show with Steve Brown, and basically what we do. Marvin Constant is a former All-SEC linebacker from the University of Alabama. We bring everything in from an outsider and a player's perspective. So it's kind of interesting to see why things happen the way they do from a player's standpoint. It helps us to better understand the game. We will preview upcoming games, recap previous games, talk about issues surrounding the team.
All Alabama.
It is an Alabama show.
It's an Alabama show. I'm just letting them know. I'm just saying, there's a lot of Alabama.
And we have former Alabama legends who.
Let me ask you a question. Is Constance the gentleman that's like really good shape? He's the one who gave a workout to somebody?
Yes.
That's him? Yeah. Oh man.
That's him.
He's in phenomenal shape. I need a workout from him. He's in phenomenal shape. Well, every Tuesday, their show is good. It's fantastic. You definitely be prepared if you want to get into the Alabama, into that cage with them. But it's enjoyable. There's just guys that really, some Alabama boys that just have some fun. They know the game. And obviously, you got a phenomenal athletes. I was listening to the show. I called in, and they had a gentleman. What was his name? Andrew Zhao, that was just phenomenal, and just you go one after the other. So whether you like Alabama, you don't like Alabama, it doesn't matter because at least you're going to hear from some like top level athletes. And then I want to also finish our show with we always like to finish, and we mentioned the Gary Sinise Foundation. That's Gary Sinise Foundation.org. Freedom and security are precious gifts that we as Americans should never take for granted. We must do all we can to extend our hand in times of need to those who are willingly sacrifice each day to provide that freedom and security. While we can never do enough to show the gratitude to our nation's defenders, we can always do a little more. Gary Sinise. So I know that's dear to your heart, Byron, and that's for first responders. That's for our military. And we always like to throw a mention out of that every one of our shows. And please, again, you can follow us on Twitter at SportsCast1. And you can visit our website at thesportscast.net. We're going to be rebroadcasting this on the Facebook, on YouTube. Listen to this, ask for questions. We dare you to come on. Let's see how much football knowledge you have, because everyone's got an opinion, right, Byron? Until they get on the phone and they
get punched in the mouth.
Yeah, everyone's got a plan and they get punched in the mouth. So if you think you're a sports enthusiast and you want to talk some real sports, come on the show. We'd love to hear from you. Again, join us next Thursday at 8 p.m. for more insights and more, hopefully we start lining up so even more guests, and we look forward to it. God bless everybody. Stay safe. Byron, nothing but love to the Jones family. Stay warm.
Yes.
Like that, right?
Not likely in the 30 degrees.
And we're going to end the show with he's cold at 30 and I'm cold at 60 in Florida.
Well, take your Perk Fanboy card. Give it back.
My blood thinned out. All right. Well, God bless. Have a great day, and we'll talk soon, brother.
All right.
Bye, man. Bye. I'm trying to get out.
Now.
All right. Bye.